Hi there, I'm Michelle and welcome back to the Canadian History, a Chronology channel. Today's episode, number 19, continues with the fall of New France. And the centerpiece of this episode is the French fortress and community of Louisburg, Cape Breton. Louisburg is important as it would later try to defend New France from English attacks, but would eventually succumb. Now, just as a reminder to bring you up to date, in the last episode, we learned that Port Royal fell to the English in 1710. We also learned that France ceded Hudson's Bay, Newfoundland, and Nova Scotia to the English with the signing of the very vaguely defined Treaty of Utrecht in 1713. Now the French wanted and needed to strengthen what they believe were their claims in the area. The very summer that the Treaty of Utrecht was signed, 160 displaced French settlers from Newfoundland sailed to Cape Breton and founded the settlement of Louisburg. Other settlements were also established, but Louisburg was made the military and administrative capital of the island. Then, in 1719, construction began on an immense fortress. The fortress of Louisburg became the greatest fortress ever to be built in the New World. There are actually two main aspects to Louisburg. First, it was a fortress that guarded the entrance to the St. Lawrence. But what was more important to France were the secondary aspects. Like Louisburg's harbor was ice-free and faced the open seas. This put it in range of the Grand Banks in support of the cod fisheries. Louisburg's community was to provide a home for the displaced Acadians. And Louisburg's location was critical to France's intercolonial trade between France's Caribbean trade, Quebec trade, and trade with France itself. But it wasn't easy. It took 26 years to build the fortress of Louisburg and would cost France a fortune. In an earlier video, I described how France operated a mercantile system of trade, specifically triangular trade, where a colony was meant to be exploited. A colony should not cost more to operate than the profits it brought into France. And Louisburg did cost a fortune by French standards of the time, but in reality, the fortress cost less than the cost of outfitting a single large warship. So what's the beef? And in return, France got a naval port, a commercial and trading center, a military presence, a fisheries base, and a corner for their triangular trade. This seems like a bargain to me, so why the whining? But the problem didn't really lie with the cost so much, but with the concept of the fortress itself. It was old-fashioned. The thick defensive walls were already out of date, as cannon technology was improving. I guess you could say that the fortress was built using old technologies and ideas. The location was also a very poor choice. Higher ground surrounded the fort, making it easy for an enemy to use the higher ground to fire siege cannons into the fort. So cost, old ideas, and location would eventually doom the fortress. But on a brighter note, Louisburg might have been a poor choice as a fortress, but it was a commercial success. It was the town and the harbor that brought Louisburg to life. The foundation of the economy was cod, but the community quickly evolved into a trade center. Ships came from all over. They came from the West Indies and the Caribbean, from Europe, and from New England to the south. Louisburg became one of the busiest seaports in North America, and business for the community prospered. So, fortress aside, Louisburg was a success. Well, that's it for the short history of the fall of New France Part 2. In summary, we learned that the fortress of Louisburg on Cape Breton Island was maybe not the best idea, but that the surrounding community prospered greatly by its location. Now, please stay tuned for the next episode, episode 20, The Fall of New France, Part 3, where we delve into the golden years of Acadia. Now remember, at any time, feel free to leave comments or questions below, and I'll do my best to respond to them all. And please, be a true Canadian and be polite. And if you like this content, please subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up. and hit the bell if you'd like to be notified of any new content. Thanks everyone, and have a great day.